right, we're here with Alex Aldea here, and just another episode of Cullen on Film coming right at you from a car. How's the weather out there? How's the weather?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It is?
Absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful out here, and
So the
yeah,
weather
I
broke,
was
huh?
just. It did. It did. Yeah, there was raining before, but
Yeah,
now it's absolutely beautiful.
we
So
still
yeah,
got
glad to
rain.
be on here with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, we'll go rewind a little bit to the beginning and like
Sure.
how, you've been doing this for a long time now, but what made you think, hey, I'm going to start acting and being in the movie business? What
Oh,
was
geez.
the
Okay.
change? Yeah.
So well,
How
it's
long
been
do we have
about
to go
4.
back?
It's been about 4 years now.
Mhm. Okay.
Since I'm a lawyer by training, as
Hmm.
you know, and I got burned out doing that after about 12 years in the business, and decided, hey, I got to do something else. Strangely enough, because of some community theater that I was doing, someone who I know with very well saw my work, liked it, said, I really like your acting chops, and I'd like you to be in my web series. And it was a web series about the mob because, it's North Jersey. So what are you going to have a web series about?
Of
Probably some
course.
kind of a mob related thing. And it was a lot of fun. It was my first real, on TV thing since pretty much college when we did some student movies and things like that. And I loved it so much and really immediately got bitten by the acting bug to try to do more TV and film kind of stuff rather than theater. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. It became my whole life after that, and I kind of left all this corporate stuff behind and decided, well, at 40 years old, let me reprofile myself as an actor and later on a producer and a writer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how it all began. And then shortly, about a year after that, I started getting on the festival circuit with a micro short that I made called All About Rita. And I was very lucky in the sense that I got about 5 Best Acting awards for that and a
Now,
couple
do
Best
you
Picture
you did
awards.
everything for that in the beginning, right? You wrote the concept, you put it all together, right? It was for that
I
one.
didn't write it.
I did.
I didn't write it or direct it. Believe it or not, I'd gone initially to a company called Real Arc
Mm-hmm.
that they do ready-made scenes for people that don't have anything on their reel, and you can just
Okay.
kind of come. And I knew the guys there very well. So strangely enough, All About Rita actually was never even meant to really be a micro short. What it was
Hmm.
meant to do was be a sort of a audition piece because I really wanted to get on Magnum PI, the new
Yeah.
series that was coming up on
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
CBS.
Hmm.
And so, this guy named Peter Lenkov was um, the producer of Magnum PI, of MacGyver, and of Hawaii Five O. And I read in Variety, and I believe it was October of 17, that this thing was going to be starting. And Magnum PI was one of my favorite shows growing up. So I thought, I got to get on this guy's radar somehow. How do I do it? So what ended up happening was I approached Real Arc with the idea. They wrote me up a script for it, which I changed to some extent. I changed the ending of it around. Uh, we shot it with a good friend of mine named Gustavo Pace, an amazing Brazilian actor.
Hmm.
So we shot it, we did it in a little place in Long Island City that they were actually using for the scene of Quantico, believe it or not. So we
Oh
snuck in
well.
there when Quantico wasn't shooting, and we were able to shoot it in for about 3 hours, and we got out.
Oh wow.
So we got to use a set, which was
Yeah.
pretty awesome. So it was a nice little Irish pub there, and we did it. I bought an iPad that I specifically bought for this purpose. I put the thing, which was the audition piece, it was about 4 minutes long, on the iPad, and I found out where Peter Lenkov lives out in Calabasas, California, and I mailed the iPad to his front door with this thing on it.
Wow.
And you better believe I tracked it to make sure where it was going. But and I took a big risk in this, and some of my friends said, "What are you, crazy? I mean, this is
Yeah.
like borderline stalkerish. Like, what, you can't be doing this kind of." And they're like, "You'll never work for him again." I go, "I'm not working for him now. What do I have to lose?
What do you
Nothing."
have to lose?
So I sent it out to him, and surely enough, he emailed me back as soon as the thing got in there, saying,
Wow.
basically two things. You really got my attention with this thing. Now, how the hell did you get my home address? And so, without saying specifically where he lives, because I promised I wouldn't do that,
Yeah.
I, we had an email exchange back and forth, and ultimately it was really funny because he'd said, "Well, look, we already cast the part that you want, which was Rick, the little bar manager."
Mm.
And they cast it with Zachary Knighton, who was this big, tall dude, and they went really Hollywoody with the casting for the
Yeah.
new series as opposed to the old one. Um, but anyway, so they said, look, but I want to keep the iPad for a couple of days before sending it back to you because I want to show it around the network. I think what you did was really charming, and I kind of went all out with it. I put
Yeah.
they have a Cross of Lorraine ring on the original show, and I put that in there, and I did a bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
Anyway, he was appreciative of my efforts. Let's put it that way. He sent the iPad back, and then I said, well, what can I do with this thing now that I have it done anyway? So it's a nice little showpiece.
Oh.
Well, technically it is a micro short, so it was a 4 minutes or so. It had a beginning and an ending and everything like that. So I decided to put it on the festival circuit. I didn't know anything about the festival circuit at all,
Yeah.
but having met Larry Rosen and then yourself, you guys were so supportive of me and being an upstart kind of new actor. Oh, what can you do with that? And you guys were like, yeah, absolutely, put it on. We'd love to show it. We think it's pretty good and everything like that. And 5 Best Acting Awards later, I was like, wow, this is really something. Not to mention, I made a whole host of really great friends who I'm still friends with today. We've made a bunch of great projects together, and it's just been a crazy ride, man. But a lot
You
of
got a
fun.
lot of things going on right now, even though they're COVID. I know the feature film is out now on Amazon.
That's
And
true. Second Thoughts, which you worked on with us, and yeah, honestly, I mean, it's a that was such an interesting thing. I mean, we all went down to Mike Veza's summer property down in
yeah.
Toms River there and shot for about a week. Everybody lived in the house. It was crazy. I was crazy. Uh,
It
you
was a
know,
fun summer,
uh,
though. See, like we got to have a summer. It was summertime. We got to enjoy a summer.
a summer. Imagine, right, exactly. And then, got a chance to go on Brett Eidman's boat up on the Hudson River and shot some scenes for that. Get to work with amazing talents like Rihanna Raddick, who was amazing, Cher Gottman, of course, Mike Veza, Larry Rosen, yourself, Tyrell Jason, and so many other great people that were all associated with that movie. It just made it just a fun and wonderful thing to be able to work with friends and to make a feature film, man. To make a feature film is just incredible. And,
Yeah.
that was my first time really acting as a producer on a feature film as
Mhm.
well. I put money into it. Mike did, you did, Larry
Yeah.
did. And so it was just well, Larry was an old hand at all of this stuff, but, he was a great teacher, just kind of bringing me along and teaching me a lot of things.
It's
Just a
pretty
lot of
cool to go from like the short to the feature. Be like, we're doing so many shorts. So like, no, we're doing a feature. It's a big difference.
huge difference and
Mhm.
and the whole, I mean, to people that haven't done a feature, do one because it
Mhm.
teaches you so much about the business in and of
Yeah.
itself. And I'm grateful to Mike Veza too, because he was a friend of mine before I ever got into acting, and then it kind of reacquainted myself with him, and going back, and he taught me a lot about the festival industry and stuff like that. And then you know working on stuff. And then when I started getting some TV gigs, I kind of told him about that kind of stuff. So, you try to pay these things back
Yeah.
whenever you can. And
And you also right now
um,
you're working on a web series yourself right now, or a
uh,
YouTube series. I don't know what you'd call it.
well, so yeah, it's called Journey into Awesomeness, and what it is basically it started as a creative endeavor that's kind of organically evolving. It's on YouTube right now, and it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm putting out episodes. And the it was part of the creatives workshop under Seth Godin, which is a really wonderful top marketer in the field. And Seth has this creatives workshop where you take a commitment for every day for 100 days you do something creative. And this was my thing. Instead of writing, I decided to make some videos, and they're basically I read a piece of poetry, then talk about some of the metaphors or lessons, life lessons about it. And it's interesting, and it's gotten a lot of good response so far from the folks that have been watching it. But honestly, it's the top of the iceberg for stuff that I'm doing. We have a feature film in the works called Mop Men. Kind of like a Mad Men thing. It's about the infomercial industry, and kind of a really funny and interesting take on the. It's going to be a period piece, late '90s, early 2000s. And all about the infomercial industry, selling mops and cleansers at 3 in the morning on some of these channels, which is going to be fun. As well as a small film that I wrote myself. The working title is The Red Coin right now, but I don't know if that'll be the final thing. It's just still in development. But Lucas Hassel's working on it with me, who's wonderful and just a really and a very generous and warm and really decent person who I've gotten to know and can I think call a friend at this point, and I'm very happy to do so. Um, Again, it's still in the works. We're still finalizing the script, but he's going to play opposite me. I believe it's going to be a two-hander, him and myself. And
you're going to film it soon because it's starting to clear up a little bit. Productions are starting to. So is it?
I would like
soon?
to. I would like to film ideally in November. Mark Klauberg has agreed to come on as director, and I'm a big fan of his, as you well know. And
then you guys have a film.
My cinematographer. We have a film, and
hang on to your shorts.
It's funny. And hang on to your shorts. And at the Manhattan Film Festival, where it'll air in 2021, because they put theirs back. They didn't want to do a virtual thing. They decided to do.
They're not. They didn't. Oh, I didn't know that. So they're going to play it.
Yeah.
Next year.
But we had to do which you might have seen on Facebook. Each film has to do a 30-second or up to maybe 3-minute intro. So we did a Zoom call with Mike Funk, Tom Bragg, the writer and producer of the film, and Mark Lauberg and myself, because Kristen Murai, who plays the blonde in Crazy for the Blonde, which is the name of the film, she's on her honeymoon right now. She just got married. So it's just a lot of fun. So we kind of introduced our characters again, and that'll be airing in Manhattan Film Festival in 2021, as well as at the Reading Film Festival. But of course, Hang On Your Shorts is this year, and
on the 12th already.
We're very excited to have it there. That's always a fun festival and one that I greatly look forward to. It's a shame we couldn't have it live because coming down to Asbury is such a fun time.
Such a fun time. It just, we thought, well, like September we'll be all right.
Well, everyone did. We thought this thing would be a couple of weeks. It's going to blow over. It's like SARS, no big deal. Yeah, it's a whole other thing. Yeah. So,
it's getting better. It's getting better, but it's still going. It's
still going, unfortunately.
Yeah, but then now we're saying, we'll be fine in November. Who knows?
Not quite.
Not quite. But what are you going to do? Everyone's just doing a lot of things. We started this show because of it all, so this has been going well. I mean, we're closing in on 50 episodes already, so
that's amazing. Congratulations!
In just a short period of time, started this in March because Hang On to Your Shorts kind of froze for a little bit. But we're having a show, our first show back since early March tomorrow. How about that? Yeah. So a couple of the guys are going to be back in action. So
I'd love to have come down for this. That would have been fun too. But of course, being on Zoom is great too.
Yeah, we do it. We do it all different ways. This is another sometimes we do the 30 on 30 right here live on, and then sometimes we do the studio. So it's kind of cool when the studio first opened back up, where I was able to go in and do a couple shows. But this is something different and new, and it's not the same as the other show. So we have two different shows. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So anything that you want to promote, like you said, the YouTube page, you want to make sure that people will see it out there, or anything other pages that they can see some of your work on?
Yeah, if you want to just Google, just put into YouTube Journey into Awesomeness. That's the name of the show. And if you'd like to link and subscribe, I'd love that. The show will be evolving. I'd like to have it have a bit of a bigger footprint, more people involved. as we move forward. So far, it's just me and my camera, and we're improving. I got a great new camera, Sony ZV-1, which I showed you, which I just love. It's a great vlogging camera and so on and so forth. So I figured I'd start that kind of thing. So meanwhile, I'm doing a lot of auditioning.
Yeah.
I auditioned for the Blacklist, a couple of other things that came down. So
All on Zoom.
believe it or not, it's all been self-tape so far. I haven't had one of those Zoom live auditions.
Hmm.
Most of the casting directors, at least the ones that I've worked with, haven't gotten those up and running yet for some reason. So,
Oh,
and to be honest with you, I kind of prefer
yeah.
self-tapes because it's just the pressure's off. You can really kind of dig down into what you want to do. You can be a lot more at liberty to do other things. Like, I did this one self-tape where I actually did it in my bathrobe because the character called for it. But it was just like, you
Like a
wouldn't do
Ferris
that
Bueller.
traipsing into the city. You'd be walking into casting director's office in your bathrobe or something like that.
I know, right?
You know,
That is a cool
so
thing about being able to do that. I've seen some actors having the self tapes and actually putting them online, and you're like, oh yeah, you kind of dressed as the character as well. So
well, I always find, and maybe it's from, I started in background before I really got into acting wise. So,
yeah,
I have a full police officer's outfit, which I'm sure you do too. And,
I got it.
it's just like, it's one of the ways that's how you work if you work in some of these places, especially before you're a union.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and so I always believe in kind of dressing up for the role. You don't want to go crazy and start, getting a fake gun with your police officer. People do that, which is kind of nuts in certain
but I do
auditions.
like
But
if I'm playing a character, I do like being dressed as the character.
yeah, absolutely. And I think it makes me more in the moment doing that as well. Like, I was on Blue Bloods and Bull. There's my two appearances on network TV so
Mhm.
far. And you know, it, for auditions for that, yeah, you want to dress as close to the part as you can to really remark yourself. Um, and that's it's very exciting being offered a possibility to work on network TV because
Yeah,
there's nothing like it, and you're really in the big time. I mean, you better be on your stuff, man, because you got one or two things, and if they don't like your
yeah, you
stuff,
better
they'll
know it.
cut you
Yeah.
right out.
Hmm. Yeah, I've
um,
been there, done that. I've been I've been cut out.
Absolutely. I know you have. I know you have. I'm talking to a kindred spirit. So, it's believe it or not, and even though I did do a good job on Bowl, they cut my scene in there because originally when we were doing the thing,
It's
they
longer.
hadn't figured out the ending. And then
Mm.
the ending ended up being much longer than what the original scriptlet that we had was. And so they cut back. So every scene that was kind of non-necessary to the part, they ended up kind of cutting into. So,
Yeah,
those are the breaks, but you still get a great week of work out of it, plus some overtime. So, that's something that is always
yeah.
really nice, and
I
being
did
able to
one
have.
show.
So,
I did one show where they gave me a couple lines here and there sometimes. And
mhm.
that the last episode, I got to drive the police car, and they had perfect shot of me getting out and arresting him and all this stuff. Perfect shot. They used the other shot like behind him, and his whole head covers me. You don't see me at all.
Oh man, what are
I
you
was,
gonna do?
I
I
was
mean,
like, "Are
listen.
you kidding me?" The cameras were all over me in every angle, and they go to the headshot of him, and you just know there's a cop there, but you don't see him. And I was like, "Are you?" They had to go with the one camera angle. I was like, "Oh, it was funny though." But what a shoot, man! That was so much fun. It was ridiculously fun. So
Yeah,
that's
I actually I loved working with you in an acting capacity because you don't normally when we work together. I
yeah,
haven't worked with you as an actor, but in Mark's other movie, The Time in Between the Seconds, that
yeah,
was a lot of fun to
yeah. It
do, and
was.
you were great as the irascible dad.
I love not
Yeah,
telling
so
people. I love not telling people I'm in it, and then they're watching it, and they're like, "What?" That's my favorite. I love that. You know.
that's so much fun. So, but yeah, getting a chance to work with friends is one of the blessings of this particular type of art
Yeah.
form that we do. I don't think there's a lot of other places you can go, and especially in indie film because you can say, well, I want so and so to play that part, and if you're lucky enough to be able to produce it and
Mhm.
stuff, well, then who's going to gainsay you? You can do it, and it's a lot of fun. So
Absolutely. So you got
yeah.
a lot going on right now, and it's nonstop. What are you doing today? Same thing: writing, producing, getting
I
deals done. What's going on?
It's funny because I was speaking with a couple of guys beforehand about finishing this short. Now it's about raising some money
Hmm.
to do it. I think probably hopefully do a budget between 10 and 20,000. You never really know what this thing's going to look like, and based on what we're able to do and what parts of the script we can really shoot. I tried to make it as much as possible one location, easier to shoot. But if you have one location, then you have to spend a bunch of money on set design and things like that, because if you're making people stare at a thing for 10 to 15
Gotta
minutes,
have
whatever
something
this thing's
nice.
going to be, it better be a really interesting room. Otherwise you're kind of making the audience pay. So and they don't
Just like my background here, I should put a little more crap up. Just the
well,
white.
that's all right. You can get one of those virtual backgrounds. You can
Yeah,
be doing
put
all
the green
kinds of
screen right here, right?
but yeah, which is funny because I had for that thing we did for Crazy for the Blonde, I did a virtual background, and Tom Bragg goes, "I've been in your apartment. You don't have that." I go, "You're absolutely right. This is not, I'm not showing you my messy apartment. It's gonna be this
Yeah,
great
I
virtual
try to keep it,
background."
but I
Looks
got my
great.
little camera sitting right there and the posters in the background.
Yeah,
That's about it. I
why
very
not?
I don't have much in the apartment. That's just how I live.
Yeah, no, but this has been a lovely. This short has been a lovely experiment for me because
Mhm.
I've gotten a lot of people's input on it, and I believe in crediting people if there's credit to be done. I'm never stingy with that, and so we're gonna end up having like a writer's room rather than like a writer for this project, even though it's a short project.
Yeah.
I mean, Lucas, my friend Nick Calhoun, my other friend Jeff Alley, who's a great actor and he used to be the former head editor of Trimark Pictures. Him, Mark. I mean, it would probably have I don't know 6 or 7 writers on this thing, believe it or not. And I'm going to credit them all, just simply because I believe that they've each contributed something to this plot line, even though it's changed and it's not exactly what they thought of initially, but it is a piece of it, and it's a piece I'm using. So you better believe I'm going to credit them, and then it'll be Lucas and I, and potentially another actor or two, potentially depending on how the script finally pans out. And normally I wouldn't even be talking about this since it's not quite ready yet, but I do hope to finish it in the next couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
then set about raising money to be able to get this thing done because I would love to get it done this year. It'd be great to have a
Absolutely.
project that I can do despite a pandemic. But I want it to be a SAG project, and SAG's really, you know,
A little
they
tough right
could
now.
do a much better job than they're doing, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And I
Mhm.
don't mind saying that. I'm a card carrying SAG member, but they are they're being kind of lackadaisical, and they really should improve their ability if they want to gain
Especially
market
with
share
people that
here.
want to make films right now that are ready and they go and buy everything. So
Yeah, they're making people jump through hoops really needlessly, which is just not what they should be doing right now. They really should be putting their best foot forward. But we'll see how that pans out, and move forward with that. And well, Mark Klauberg has a movie coming up that I'm sure he'll tell you about next time you talk to him. I'm going to
yeah,
be in that one, and he's got a couple of other bigger name actors as well. So I won't steal his thunder by talking about that, but I'll be working with him on a bunch of projects, and I'm a big fan of his as a director and a writer. So
well, the good thing is we're
that'll
all
be fun.
still working and doing things constantly during all this. That's
Yeah,
keeping at it. So it's always good.
absolutely. Yeah,
And then,
looking forward to that, man. So, and we'll have to grab beers soon. And thanks so much for having me. I really
yeah.
appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun.
Is there anything else you want to promote that to get out there?
As of right now, I mean, that's pretty much it. If anybody wants to go to Hang On to Your Shorts, please go and support our movie Crazy for the Blonde, which is going
Yeah,
to be there. It's nearing the end of its festival run, so if you haven't seen it yet, please see that.
yeah.
And then Journey into Awesomeness. Please check it out on YouTube, and I hope you like it, and I hope you subscribe and hit that little bell button so you get all your updates on it. So, thank
Awesome.
you again. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, great. Thanks. It's always great to have you on, and finally got you on the Cullen on Film one-on-one show. So
very much thank you again, CJ. You're a huge film supporter and a great talent, and I really appreciate
great.
everything you've done.
Thanks
So,
for coming on today, and we'll talk soon.
absolutely. Take
Yeah,
care.
great.
And bye,
Yep.
Ming. Nice to see you. Bye.
See it.